Hello, all of my crafty friends. I am so excited to be with all of you today. I have really missed crafting with you. It's been a while since I posted a video, so I'm so excited to share with you a couple of projects that I have been recently working on. So thank you all once again for joining me back on my channel. Welcome all of you to Pretty Pink Craft Room. Any of you who are new or who are returning, I thank you so much for joining me today. So today's project, I have a cute little flip book folio, but I added some brads for the spine, and so I wanted to show you the cute projects that came from what I recently spent time doing. So this is the project, one of them. I did a couple of them, but this is one of them. And this is using some graphic 45 paper that I had left over from the paper pack. You've seen me use this paper before in a variety of projects, and I had some paper left over, trying to use up, leftover paper, so I thought it would be cool to create this project. The overall project measures 4.5 by 7. Let me just double check. Actually 4.25 by 7. And it's held together by this ribbon closure. And in the front there's 2 pockets here with just some little journaling cards that can be used for photos or to journal on. Then I use some of the decorations here, use some gem beads just for decoration there as well. And then when you open it on the left side, there's a small pocket here as well, with another journaling card, or could be used as a photo mat as well. And then when you open it, there is a pocket here with a large tag, and that large tag has a little flip up at the bottom that can be used for more photos. And then as you go through the pages, you'll see that I used a lot of the journaling cards and the ephemera from the paper pack. Made some photo mats, some journaling areas here, and then did the same thing over here. I added a tag here on top of a photo mat. And then in the middle section, the center spread has a couple of waterfalls that can be used for photo mats as well. And then of course another journaling spot there. This is just a decorative page, but it also has a tuck spot in case you want to insert a picture. 2 photo mats there. And then on this side is a flip up page with decoration there, but then that can be used for photo mat here. And then at the bottom there is a pocket with another journaling card inside there. This has a larger pocket, and I just did a fold over booklet for more photos that can go in there, but it has much more room for other items. And then on here on the far right, there's another flip up. Photos can go there. And then this is just a pocket, and I just added kind of a bookmark, but it can be used as a journaling spot. And then that's on top of another pocket here where I inserted a large journaling or photo mat spot there as well. So all of this for the spine is held together by the 3 brads here. So I wanted to show you how I did that. You've seen me also do that on a different project, but it was more for like a junk journal. So I'm just using it this time on a folio. So that is how that item, and I did create another one that I wanted to quickly show you how I did that one. It's the same thing, but just different paper. This paper is using Simple Stories, a winter themed paper, and again the same type of setup and design with the ribbon closure here, 2 pockets up front with areas for journaling or photos, and that goes back in there. Use some of the chipboard and the ephemera for the front. And then when you open it, over here on this side is more area for that. And then there's a journaling card here. I just put a pull tab on there to make it easier to pull out. And then when you open it, another V pocket with a large tag here. I wanted to make add more to the back there, but I hadn't had a chance to do so, but I'll make sure I do that. But a large tag here, and then when you go through the pages, There's areas all here for photos. Photo mat there with the tuck spot. Double tags here. I want to add some ribbon onto these here, and there's an area for photos. There's also areas at the back of these tags for journaling too. And then again on the center spread I did another double waterfall. So this one has the waterfall spots here for photos. And then up top. And then you have the two journaling cards there for decoration. And then this has areas for journaling, and then you can add a photo at the bottom, and then this is a photo mat here. And then at the back, I did a tag, a fold over tag here, and then did a belly band with some more journaling cards here. And then this page actually flips up and down, and there's areas for photos there as well. So a lot of space and areas for photos. And then this is another one of those booklets that you can add photos on the inside. Over on the far right, I did another flip up with the journaling card on the front, but you can add photos here. And then this is just a little tag here with some a sticker on top. And then there's a large pocket here that can be used for journaling or photos as well. More decoration needs to be done on this one, but I still wanted to make sure I showed it to you guys. So you can see what I have been working on. And this one also is, the spine is held together by brads. So I hope this is a project that could interest you. And if it does, I hope you will consider sticking around and crafting with me. So let's make one together. So to create the base of the folio, you will need 3 sheets of paper cut at various lengths. Now, I did see this project on another page, SecretBeesStudio. I'm sure you all may have heard of her page. She does awesome, amazing projects. And this was a project that she had many years ago, and I modified it a little bit, changed it around, but I will definitely link her page in the description in case you want to check out her page as well. She does amazing projects. But to create the cover, I took 3 sheets of paper to make the left, the middle, and the right. So for the left side, I have a sheet that measures 5 by 7. And all I'm going to do with that sheet is, let me bring out my scoreboard. I am just going to score that at 1/2 inch and then 1 inch. Okay, so this is 5 by 7, and on the 5-inch side I did 1/2 inch and 1 inch, and then I'll fold these down. And this again will be the left side of my folio project. And then for the middle, I'm going to take another sheet of paper, and this paper measures 4 5/8 by 7. 4 5/8 by 7, and I am going to score this one at 4 3/8. Line that up properly, excuse me, and score that at 4 3/8. So this one you will fold upwards, and this will serve as the back of your project. So I'm just going to fold and crease that down, and so it will serve like so. And then for the right side, I'm going to take another piece, and this piece measures 3 5/8 by 7, and I'm going to score this at 3 1/4 inch. And this one I'm going to fold down. So now I'm going to assemble all 3 of these pages, the left, the back, and the right, by just adhering them along the spine. So this one, the left side has a little 1/2 inch flap here. So I'm going to apply glue onto there. And this paper is a little bit thicker, so I'm going to be a little bit more generous with the glue here. And then I'm going to line up this 1/2 inch to the edge of my back piece or my middle piece. Line that up, make it even. Okay, and so now my left and my back are attached together. And then I want to take my right side and I'm going to make these flaps overlap with each other. So overlap like so. So I'm just going to apply glue on this flap here to make these two overlap like so. And I'm just touching those, making sure they line up evenly. And now we have our base completely done. So you'll notice that one side has a larger spine and this one is a slightly smaller spine. So this is a 1/2 inch spine and this is a 3/8 inch spine. So that gives us more room on the inside for us to play and to add all of the items on the inside. So let me just score this down to make sure this all stays in place here. Oops. And so this is our base project. So now let's work on adding our ribbon closure, because I want to add that on there before I start adding the insert so that it can cover up the string or the ribbon, and you'll see what I'm talking about as we start to add the ribbon in there. So to add the ribbon, I measured from the top of the project down 3 1/4 inch. So I lined up my ruler here from the top edge, came down 3 1/4 inch, and came over 1/2 inch. So let me open it up a little bit so you can see what I'm speaking of. So you can see that I've lined up my ruler so that I am over about 1/2 inch or maybe 5/8 of an inch, and I've come down from the top of the project. I've come down to 3 1/4, and then I'll make a little pencil mark there to tell me where to punch my hole. And then on the left side, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come down 3 1/4, and then about 5/8 from that left edge, and make a pencil mark to let me know where to punch my holes. Okay. So then I'm just going to take my little pokey tool here, and I'm just going to poke a hole in those areas that I've designated with the pencil mark. So I've made that hole there, and then I'll make this hole here. So before I add the string, I just punched 2 small circles using a paper punch, and then lined them up together and made small little holes in the inside. And I'm going to apply them as sort of reinforcers to the holes that we've punched. So just lining up the holes together and then applying that little circle like so. And then I'll do that on the left side as well. Okay, and so that one is added there as well. So the next thing I want to do before I add the string, because I don't want to forget and get started and then to get going and forget to do it, I'm just going to round these corners here using my corner rounder, because I will continue to keep going and I will completely forget that I wanted them rounded. So let me just do that. Okay, so now I have 2 pieces of ribbon that kind of matches the paper style, and these pieces are just 10-inch long ribbon, and I'm going to feed it from the front going towards the back. So let's see if I can Feed the ribbon through. It's kind of hard sometimes with my nails trying to get it to go through, but we can get it patiently done. Okay, I just paused the video so you all wouldn't have to see me struggling trying to get that ribbon through that hole, but I just added both ribbons, again feeding from the front going towards the back on both holes. And what I'm going to do now is I'm leaving about 1 inch here, and I'm going to apply some double-sided tape to keep the ribbon down, like so. So now the ribbon is held in place there, and then I will do the same thing, about 1 inch tail there, and then I'll add some tape to keep the ribbon all in place. Okay, so now we have our closure here that will serve to keep the whole album together with this ribbon. So now let's move on to working on the left cover here, and we'll cut more paper to go ahead and start designing our left-hand cover. For the left front cover, I have a piece of paper that is 3 1/8 by 7, 3 1/8 by 7, and I've scored it at the bottom 1/4 of an inch, because we're going to use that 1/4 of an inch to add a little gusset for the bottom pocket there. So let me just round these corners. Here and here. And this will line up like so on the edge there. But I'm going to glue down the top portion, but only leave a pocket here at the bottom. So I'm just going to line this up and then make a mark for where I want to, and I can erase this mark later. So I'm only going to be applying glue up at the top here to seal all this down, and on the side and the bottom to make this part here, this section here, will be a pocket. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. So I just made this mark here so that I knew I wouldn't be interfering with the string or the closure here. So I made a mark here, and I'll apply glue. I'll put my hand where I don't want to glue everywhere. And let me get this glue unclogged. One moment. Okay, my apologies. I thought I had pressed record, but I did not. So let me just go over with you what I had done here. So again, I have made this mark, this pencil mark here. So everything above the pencil mark has glue, and it is completely glued down. Below the pencil mark is a pocket. So there is a pocket down here at the bottom where we can insert a photo mat or a journaling card there. I'm just trying to give the glue a little bit more time to adhere down. But this part is a pocket. This part is completely sealed down. And of course, that's completely optional. If you want to make the whole thing a pocket, you can certainly do that. You just have to be mindful of the closure here. So it should be all glued down now. Yes, okay. And so again, we will add some type of journaling card here, and that will be your left cover there. So now let's go ahead and let's work on the inside of our left hand cover as well. For the left inside cover, I'm going to show you all where I made a little bit of a mistake here. So again, you remember that we added tape here to seal down this ribbon. I did cut a piece of paper here to cover the inside of this cover, but I cut it too short because, as you can see, as I lay this down, this part is going to be exposed, and I need to add a pocket here, which will, if I leave that exposed, it will cause the things that I insert into the pocket to stick to the tape. So I had to cut an extra piece here, so that's what you're going to see me gluing down. In addition to this piece here, just lining that up evenly. Oh, and I made another mistake because I did not remove that sealing. So I'm going to leave these mistakes in so you guys can see where I make my errors. Sometimes I'm just moving way too fast and I need to go back. Okay, that's better. So now the ribbon is completely hidden, and now I will add this extra piece here. This will all be hidden by the pocket anyway. You won't be able to see it, but at least that exposed tape will not be there and won't cause any problems for the pocket. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now that we've gotten that covered, let's go ahead and do our V pocket. So to create the pocket, I have a sheet here that measures 4 3/4 by 4. I'm sorry, 4 3/8. So this is 4 3/8 by 4. What I did was I scored a 1/4 inch on each side, just did some pre-scoring to help the video move along. So I'm going to go ahead and miter these edges so that we can lay our pocket down. Okay, so to create the V though, what I did was I took my ruler, and this ruler is helpful because it helps you identify centers. So I took the ruler and lined it up to locate the center of my pocket, and then I came down from the top 1.5 inches. So first I did the center, marked that, came down 1.5 inches, made a mark here, and so now I know how deep my V needs to go. So I will now cut it from this edge down to here, and from this edge down here, to hopefully make the V pocket symmetrical. So I'll pull out my cutter and make those cuts. So using this trimmer makes it a little bit easier for me to be able to make those cuts, because I can line it up where I've made those pencil marks, and I'll just sink my blade into where that center mark was, and then I'll push my cutter that way, and then at least I know that my cuts are even. You can of course do this with scissors. That will work as well. Would probably be quicker also, but my scissor cutting is not all that great. So okay, and then there's just a little bit hanging here, so I'll go ahead and cut that off with scissors though. Okay, so now I have my V pocket like so, and then I have my gussets on the side here. So I do want to mat this with another piece of paper. So I do have another sheet here. This is my batting piece, and this measures 3 3/4 by 3 5/8. Again, it's 3 3/4 by 3 5/8, and yes, 3 3/4, and it should be by 3 5/8. Yes. So what I'm going to do, the easiest thing for me to do instead of measuring is to actually put the paper on top of it and make pencil marks where I want to cut. So I'm lining it up on this pocket, centering it, making sure everything is in place, and then I'll hold it in place, flip it over, and then use my pencil to make the pencil marks of where I want my cutting to be, like so. And then of course, if you do it on the back, it of course will not be seen because you've made those marks on the back. But again, I'm just going to line this up in my trimmer, sink my blade, and hold it in place and do my cutting. And again, I'm just a little bit shy, so I'll take my scissors and finish off just that little bit of a section here. And hopefully this should all line up together. And there it goes. It lines up together perfectly. So let me go ahead and apply that down with some glue. Move my cutter out of the way and apply this down to our inside pocket page. So now that you have your V pocket here, this is where you can add the tag, or you can add other photo mats or other goodies that you want to add into this pocket here. So now we will move on and actually work on our insert pages for our project. My first insert page is measured at 8 3/8 by 7, 8 3/8 by 7, and I'm just going to score this at 4 and at 4 3/8. 4 and 4 3/8, so that gives you 4 inches on both sides. And then for my second insert page, this one measures 8 1/4 by 7, 8 1/4 by 7, and on the 8 1/4 side, I'm going to score at 4 and 4 1/4. 4 and 4 1/4. So now I will go ahead and fold both of these down. And you should have pages like so. And they go just inside of one another like that. So you have these two pages, and there the gussets are the spines, excuse me, are just a little bit smaller. They give just a little bit more room on the pages. So what I'm going to do now is bring in my project, and I want to apply these into that 1/2 inch spine here, like so. And to do that, I'm going to use some brads. So I first want to line everything up and secure it down before I poke the holes for my brads. So I took all my papers, I lined them up, made them even, and I am securing them down with these large paper clips that I have in my stash, just to try to make sure I can keep everything even and centered before I poke my holes. So now that everything is secure, I'm going to take a ruler from the inside, and I'm going to, since this is 7 inches in height, I can go to 3 1/2 and make a pencil mark. I know that's my center, and then I'm going to come down from the top and come up from the bottom 3/4 of an inch from those edges. So 3/4 of an inch from the top, 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, make the pencil mark. So now I have all of these marks of where I can poke my holes. So I'm just going to take my pokey tool again, use that, and poke through all of these papers. You have to apply a bit of pressure. And one more. Okay, good. So now I have my 3 holes here, and they are going through the back, and then I will get my brads and attach them onto the spine there. So I've done 2 already. I added the brads at the top and the bottom, so I will do the 3rd one with you. So all I did was I took one of the brads that I have in my stash here, and I'm just going to insert it through that middle hole, and it should all go through seamlessly. It's not that many papers, and the holes are big enough so that it should insert perfectly fine. So I'm just going to insert it from the back, hold it in place, and because the stems or the legs on it are really kind of small, I'm just using my scissors to separate those legs and then pull them apart, and then I can flatten them down. And then of course you want to make sure you turn it so that the legs are growing vertical and not horizontal. And then you can flatten them down. I really like this technique too, because you can always replace these papers too. I'm just going to remove all of my binding clips and safety and paper clips, and so now your pages are inside, and you can crease them down, and they're here, and you can use them for your project. And they're all secured by the brads that are on the spine there. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and work on this back pocket, and let's add. For my back pocket, I have a piece of paper that measures 4 5/8 by 3.5, 4 5/8 by 3.5, and I'm just going to score that at 1/4 of an inch on 3 sides. So I'll do 1/4 of an inch, rotate, another 1/4 of an inch, and then lastly 1/4 of an inch. And then I'll go ahead and miter those edges like we normally do. And then we'll bring back in our project and add this back in. So this is going on the back page. We've just inserted these pages here, so this will go towards the back and it will lay like so. But what I'm going to do also is add a little bit more decoration towards the back of it by adding this this strip here. And then I will add this pocket on top like so. So that pocket is now laid down here. And this is of course where you can put the booklet or whatever else you may decide that you want to fill your pocket with, but that can go here. So for the far right side, we had a large pocket. But first, I did cut a piece to cover up this section here, especially the tape as well as the ribbon there. So I just cut a strip that was like 1 inch long, and I'm just going to round these edges here. I'm just rounding both of those edges, and I'm just going to add this piece here, and it looks like it's a bit too long, so I may have to make an adjustment and trim that down. Let me go ahead and do that. So I added this piece here to cover up that tape as well as the ribbon there so that you won't be able to see it. And I have a pocket, a piece here that will serve as my side pocket. This piece measures 7 1/4 by 3.5, and I've already scored at 1/4 of an inch on all 3 sides there. What I'm going to do now is just use my paper punch here to create a notch on it. And I'm just eyeballing it. I don't have a specific measurement of where I'm punching it. I'm just eyeballing it as to where I want it. I'm thinking I want it to be. So I just notched it in 2 places, and I'm just going to cut out that middle and then apply this pocket onto this right side here. Now this pocket is laid down, and this is where we can insert another journal card here. That can be inserted into this pocket. So the only thing left for the base of the project is to work on this front cover. So for that, I have cut a piece here, and this piece is measured at 2 3/4 by 7 3/8. I did a 1/4 score on the 3 sides as we normally do, so I am just going to go ahead and add this down, and this will be a double pocket on the front. So I'm just mitering these edges, and then I'm going to fold them down, crease them, and then apply them to the front of the project, and it'll lay down like so. And this will be a double pocket, so I'll apply glue on this strip here as well as on the 3 sides where the gussets are there as well. So let me crease this and then add the glue, and then we will go through the whole project together here. So this will go here like so, and I will apply glue in the middle right there as well. Okay, so now that we've applied the pocket onto the front, let's just go through the whole project together. I will need to do a lot of decorating on it, and it's kind of late here, so I'm hoping I can get a lot done and show you how I decorated it as part of this video as well. So I will try to do my best to get that for you as well. So this is the front. Of course, it has 2 pockets here, one top, one at the bottom, and then you have the string closure, and then when you open it up, you have a pocket here. Then there is a small pocket here at the bottom. And when you open it up, you have a V pocket here. This is your first page, second, all of your insert pages. And of course you can add more here if you want to, because again the brads are there and you can take out and add paper as you see fit. And then there's a back pocket here. So that is the complete project, and I think it turned out really nice. And so I will of course spend some time trying to decorate it and try to come back and show you guys the final product of how it all turned out. So stay tuned for that. And we're back. So this is our final view of the completely decorated project. This is actually a different day from the previous segment, because as I had mentioned, it was really late when I was filming, and it got later, and of course I got more tired, so I wasn't able to complete the decorating and get that video posted for you as quickly as I would have liked. So it took me another day to finish up the decorating, and so now I'm able to provide you with the complete view. So as you can see, the front is decorated with some stickers, some ephemera, some little tag, a little tag here where it says happiest with coffee. And you guys, I am a complete coffee lover. So this paper was so beautiful to me, and it really spoke to me, and I was so happy to use it and to play with it and to create a project with it. So I was definitely excited about it. So as you can see, or as we previously worked on together, everything is held together by the tie ribbon here. And on the front, we had created 2 pockets. So I put 2 journal cards here, or they could be used for photo matting, and both of them just say coffee on the tabs, but in different font and different print, like so. And they easily fit into the double pockets on the front there, like that. And then when you open it up on the left side here, there is a bottom pocket, and again I added another pull tab, a card that can be used for journaling or for photos, and this says all those coffee slogans there. And then when you open it up, we have the V pocket that we previously worked on, and I did add a tag inside. This one says, maybe iced coffee is addicted to me. And when you fold it up, there's an area for 2 photos there as well. So that easily fits in there. On the first page, I used a journal card and created a fold over spot here. I am using on the tabs here, to create tabs, I used, one of the sheets was just aerial views of coffee cups, different coffee cups, and I just paper punched those out and then use those as tabs for pages as well as decoration. And this part just makes it easier to fold the page or pull the page over. And then there's areas here for photos. This is a tuck spot, so photos can fit here. The next page is some actual photo matting. You can add photos here, and this is an actual tuck spot to add more. The center spread is the double waterfalls, and so I did do a waterfall up top as well as at the bottom, and they again have those little circle punches for the tabs as well as decoration. And when you fold it all the way over, there's this large area for photos, and this is a tuck spot, and this is a tuck spot as well. That's all there. And again, you have the center here where you can add more. If you wanted to add journal pages, you could add that here too. You just would pull the brads apart and insert the paper that you would like to add here. Okay, the next page, I just added a small pocket as well as a small tag for writing, but this one is also a tuck spot if you wanted to add a photo to that page. This is more photo matting, and it's a tuck spot here, a tuck spot here as well. And then on the last page is just a fold over page, so it just says a beautiful cup of happy, and then when you flip it up, there's an area for photos here, and then the bottom part is a pocket where I added a journal card that says it's time for a brand new cup of coffee. The back pocket, I put another booklet here, just a fold over booklet for photo. A photo can go either of those locations, and then I just decorated the front and added more of those coffee cup views there. And this says, I don't rise and shine, I caffeinate and coordinate. This back page was the large pocket that we created. I did another fold over where you can add a photo here, and then some journaling there. Behind it is just a little pocket for this little bookmark. And then over to the side is another area for either journaling or photos. And I just added a pull tab so that it could easily be removed and inserted back into the pocket. And then that takes us back to the front of the project. So thank you all again for sticking with me. Thank you all for returning to my channel. Again, I know it's been a while since I posted a video, so I am so thankful that you have decided to come back and join me for another video. I am just putting all 3 of the projects in frame now. It was a joy to create these all, and so I hope you will let me know which one is your favorite in the comments, either 1, 2, or 3. I look forward to hearing you guys' feedback and comments and suggestions. And once again, thank you all so much for crafting with me. If you are new to my channel, please consider liking, commenting, subscribing to my channel to join me for future crafting events or crafting sessions. I can't wait to get back with you guys again for another video. And until then, thank you so much. I hope you all are having a wonderful and pleasant day, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care. Bye.